Have you ever really stopped to think about what weighs more in life? I mean, is it the sharp, quick sting of a failure, or that dull, constant ache of a regret? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. We're going to look at what this all means for the ambitions we chase and, the big choices that end up defining us. Okay, let's get into it.
So here it is. Regret is heavier than failure. Just let that sit for a second. It sounds so simple, right? But man, it carries some serious weight all on its own. So what does that really mean? And is it actually true? To figure that out, we've got to understand the two big ideas at play here. And we're going to start with failure. All right, so let's tackle the first part of this whole equation, the nature of failure. Because if we really want to get what this quote is about, we have to be super clear on what we mean when we even say the word failure. Now, this is what I find so fascinating. Failure, it's not a personal flaw. It's not who you are. It's a finite outcome. It's an endpoint. I remember the first time I put my heart and soul into a creative project, and it got rejected, just flat out. And yeah, it stung. But that rejection wasn't a judgment on my worth as a person. It was just a data point. It was the answer I got because I finally worked up the nerve to ask the question.
And this is a great breakdown of its key traits. A failure has a conclusion. It's over. And it's born from action. You literally cannot fail if you don't try something in the first place. And because you tried, it gives you a lesson. You get real, concrete feedback from the world. It becomes this tangible thing that happened, and now it lives in your past.
So now, let's step over to the other side of the scale. We're moving from failure to the echo of regret. I love this subtitle. The ghost of what could have been. And you're about to see this is a totally different kind of animal. Just look at how this is defined. Where failure was finite and came from doing something, regret is this infinite feeling that comes from inaction, from not doing something. It's not the question that got a no. It's the question you were too afraid to even ask. And that's exactly why it can stick around and haunt you.
And this is the absolute crucial point. Regret is infinite because it's a never-ending loop of what if? What if I'd taken that job? What if I'd said what I really felt? It's born from doing nothing. So instead of a lesson, all it gives you is this persistent nagging question. It's not some event in your past, it's this intangible feeling that just lives on, right there with you.
Okay, so now we've got our two heavy hitters defined. We've got failure, the result of taking a shot, and we've got regret, the ghost of not even stepping up to the plate. So now we can finally bring them together and really understand why one carries so much more weight.
Which brings us to the big question, the reason we're doing this whole explainer. What is it really that makes one so much heavier than the other? Why does that quote we started with feel so incredibly true for so many of us?
This chart just lays it out so perfectly. Action versus inaction. A finished event versus a question that never ends. There's this psychological principle called the Zeigarnik effect. It basically says our brains are wired to remember unfinished business way more than things we've completed. A failure, even if it hurts, is a completed task. You did the thing, it's done. But regret? That's the ultimate unfinished task. That's why it's so heavy. It's about how long it lasts. Failure lives in the past. Regret moves in with you and hangs around in the present. And that's why getting this distinction is so important for how we decide to live our lives.
So, okay, what does all this abstract talk mean for us? For you, for me? Let's bring this idea home and connect it directly to our own lives, to those things we secretly dream about doing.
Here's maybe the most powerful way to think about this whole thing. Regret is simply the weight of unspoken ambition. That's it. It's the career path you thought about but never took, the conversation you wanted to have but never started. It's the incredible burden of all the potential you never even gave a chance to see the light of day. And that's where we'll leave it. A failure is like a scar from a battle you actually chose to fight. But a regret? That's the ghost of a battle you ran away from. One is a mark of experience you get to carry. The other is a shadow that follows you around. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What is the weight of your unspoken ambition?